I'm Craig Smith, Director of Operations with the Department of Transportation. I'm joined today with representatives from the City of Sioux Falls, our contracting industry, as well as Highway Patrol. Today we're bringing awareness to a very important topic, work zone safety. This week is National Work Zone Safety Awareness Week. This is an annual campaign held at the start of road construction season to help remind drivers to be attentive while driving through work zones this summer. Every time the season starts, I think about when I was in the first couple projects with DOT, and one of them was actually right over here on Interstate 29. Myself and a co-worker were working alongside traffic. Traffic was slowed in the work zone. Unattentive driver came speeding into the work zone. They veered to miss the vehicle, nearly missing my co-worker. Fortunately that day, no one was hurt or injured, but just shows you how quickly things change in these work zones. They are very hazardous and dangerous, and things can happen quickly, whether it's slowed traffic, construction equipment, or whatever else might be going on. Unfortunately, that's not always the case. Nationally, there's typically around 800 fatalities in work zones. In South Dakota, we've seen at least 2 to 3 fatalities every year for the last 10 years. So South Dakota is not immune to the hazards and unfortunately fatalities within our work zones. Many of these crashes are related to speeding, which I talked about, distracted driving, as well as impaired driving. This year's work zone awareness theme is "You play a role in this, work with us." We're asking drivers to be responsible, to eliminate distractions, stay focused, obey speed limits in work zones. We want to keep both our drivers safe as well as our construction workers out there doing the work. We want everyone home safe each and every day. Our first speaker is going to be Shannon with the City of Sioux Falls. We work closely with the city to plan these projects throughout all phases that include our traffic control and really laying things out to be safe and effective for our drivers. So Shannon?
I'm Shannon Verhey. I'm one of the assistant city engineers for the City of Sioux Falls, and I help lead the project delivery and construction team for the city. And the City of Sioux Falls, we have about 3,400 lane miles of roadway in the city. And we have a lot of partnership projects with the DOT, including this 41st Street project that we have going on, Benson Road to Virgin Diamond, 6 Mile Road, Arrowhead Parkway, South Veterans Parkway, as well as we have a lot of other city projects going on, like the Unity Bridge downtown, 85th and Cliff intersection, and we have a lot of just miscellaneous ride improvement projects as we go throughout the city. And where I'm going with this is we have a lot of construction that's happening not only in the city, but in this area this summer. And most commuters, if you have any sort of commute, you're probably going to run into one of our construction zones over the course of the summer. And the big thing you want to point out, all these construction zones, they have literally hundreds of construction workers working in them. And you know what? These people, there are dads, moms, brothers, sisters, friends, coaches, kind of like some of the signs behind me here. And you know, at the end of the day, they just want to go home. They want to go home at the end of each day. And you can help out by planning ahead, slowing down, putting down your phone, and then just be aware of your surroundings. Kind of like Craig said, we're here to celebrate National Work Zone Awareness Week. And, and the theme this year is "You can play a role, work with us." So that kind of begs the question, what are some specifics that you can do to help us out? And one specific thing, most of these projects, especially any of these larger projects that we have going on, they have some sort of alternate route to them. They have detour routes. And a lot of times when these projects start, they're trying to find the shortest commute time. So there's a lot of adjustments that goes on to the commuters. And we try and do our best, like with traffic signals, to change timings and adjust the signal timings. And what we're asking for is, we can use your help if you're a commuter and you see things that could improve your commute, through adjusting traffic timings or whatnot. Feel free to call the DOT. Feel free to get a hold of the city, and then we'll make those, because the smoother our commuters can get through our traffic, the less frustrated they become, and then ultimately it leads to a safer construction zone. And another thing that you can do to help us out and be part of the solution is expect the unexpected. And again, a lot of our projects that we have going on, they're planned out. They're going to take most of the summer to complete. However, there's a lot of miscellaneous things that happen, just pop-up projects that happen, whether it's a pothole filling crew that's out there, whether it's somebody updating the pavement markings that are on the roadway, or just other short-term things to do some patching, and those things just pop up. I'll give you an example. This morning on the way to work, at one of the major intersections on the east side of town, there was a half dozen staff from the street division, and they were out there filling potholes in the middle of an intersection. And that wasn't expected, but the motorists were being very patient with them, letting them get their job done, again, so they could go home at night. So overall, construction, it's for the betterment of the community. You can have an impact, and we appreciate your patience and understanding.
Our contractors, they have a unique perspective in these work zones. These work zones are their offices. Their employees are working alongside traffic to get the work done. And to talk about that today, we got Greg Branagh, the owner of D&G Concrete, who is also the prime contractor on this project at Interstate 29 and 41st Street, reconstructing the interchange to a diverging diamond interchange.
As you know, we're here to emphasize Construction Awareness Week. Behind me is the second year of actually a 2.5-year project, the diverging diamond on 41st Street. The project involves total reconstruction of 41st Street. It also includes reconstructing the bridge over I-29 at the same time. We affect probably 120 businesses around here with this project, so it's imperative that the traveling public drives through our project, so we're not closing anything completely off. There's no detours set up, so it's important that the traveling public knows that you're going to be driving right next to our employees. Our employees, our heavy equipment's going to be sometimes close as 2 to 3 feet away from you. And we need you to do two things. Safety is our number one priority. So it's our number one priority for you, the traveling public, and it's also our number one priority for our employees and the people that are working out here. As you know, on a job like this, things change every single day. So from getting from point A to point B is going to take time. And it's going to take patience, and it's going to take awareness. And that's kind of what I wanted to talk about, is those two things, awareness and patience. Be aware of your surroundings. Be aware of the signs. There's signs everywhere. It gets confusing at times, but if you slow down, read the signs, keep your eyes open, be aware, don't become distracted, you'll be able to move from point A to point B. It's just going to take you longer than it did before we started construction. Keep in mind, there's 35,000 cars a day going through here prior to construction. Now, some of that's gone away, found alternate routes, and Shannon's right. Alternate routes is the best for all of us if you can find a different way to get from point A to point B rather than drive through our construction zone. Be safe out there. Keep our employees safe. That's our priority. It should be your priority too. Remember, and when I say this, patience and awareness are important, and especially on a daily basis. When things change out here, almost daily, lane switches change. We're going to be working on these ramps to the interstate here shortly, so those are going to be closed from time to time. But for the most part, everything's open to traffic. Businesses are open. You have to find a driveway that's temporarily graveled to get to them sometimes. But if you can be patient, be aware of the signs, be aware of our flaggers out here, and everybody's going to go home safe at night, like Shannon said. All these people that are working out here have families. They want to go home no different than you do driving through our construction zone. So it's important. Awareness is important. Patience is so important, but most of all, be considerate of the people around you. Thanks.
Thank you, Greg. I talked about some of the crashes that happen in work zones, and if you look at those, many, if not most, are caused by driver behavior. And part of that effort to create safe work zones is educating the public as well as enforcing those traffic laws to make sure people are obeying those, particularly in our work zones, but really everywhere. So today we have Colonel Rick Miller with the South Dakota Highway Patrol to speak as well. Rick?
Thank you, Craig. Thank you, Craig, for having me here as part of this. And these speakers all bring up great points as far as driver behavior and being prepared for work zones. The Highway Patrol is out there, and unfortunately we have to investigate these crashes when people aren't paying attention, remaining focused on what's around them. Whether it's winter driving or summer driving, they're both times when you have to be conscious of what's going on around you, but summer is more important with all the workers out on the roadways. All too often we get busy with thoughts of what's going on around us, the nice weather, what's going to happen, and we don't always think about those construction workers that are out there. The effect that a patrol car has on the motoring public is evident. Everyone that's driven down the road sees a patrol car, they slow down even if they're not speeding, they look at their speedometer, they make sure they're following the rules of the road. That's the effect we want everyone to have in a construction zone. Look at the speed limit signs. Look at what you're doing. Make sure you have a good following distance. You're not distracted. Prepare for that construction zone because, as the signs behind me say, there's people in that area working, and it's very important to be cognizant of that. And we want everyone to go home at the end of the day. So again, I appreciate everyone being here and talking about the driver behaviors and the effects that those behaviors have on the construction zone workers. Thank you.
Thank you, Rick. Our last speaker, Jared Gusso, is with SFC Civil Constructors. They are the contractor working on the bridge behind us. Jared, this morning, along with AGC, they were out to 2 schools here in the Sioux Falls area, and part of our the marketing, our educational program, the artwork you see, thanking the students that created those and recognizing them. So it was kind of a fun morning to see the kids kind of get recognized for that, but also to bring the safety message to them and their families. So with that, I'll let Jared talk from his perspective as a bridge contractor.
Thanks, Greg. So I'm going to speak just a little bit to the workers' perspective. The first portion of my career was in the field, doing the work that you see behind us on the highway and on the bridges. From a worker perspective, on this project we're going to have probably 20 skilled trades up there working, and the background noise, the noise you hear, the traffic noise, the honking, the tire hum, it all becomes white noise to us. It's just background noise. It's another day at the office. So, we talk with our guys, don't be complacent, be careful, keep your head on a swivel, watching traffic. We've seen a lot of things on the road. We've had vehicle fires that we've helped get people out of and put out. We've had tractor trailer accidents. We've had individuals hit by vehicles. So it really hits home to us and to our employees. Jackhammer noise, air compressors, equipment, all that stuff, it dulls your senses. Earplugs, for hearing protection, you don't hear the traffic. So paying attention, slowing down, following the speed limit, and paying attention. It's easy as a driver to look over to see what's going on, what are they doing, how far did they get in the last day, in the last week. All that distracts you, and if the individual in front of you hits the brakes, you become an accident and something else that's a distraction. So, our guys, like one of the previous speakers said, that's their office. Imagine going to work and having traffic zinging past you at 65, 70, 80 miles an hour every day. That's what our trades do and work around. So anything that the traveling public can do to help us out and keep our workers safe so they go home every night, they got families, this is their career, this is their profession. So we want to take care of them and make sure that they have a longevity in the career that they've chosen. Thanks.
Thank you, Jared. Well, I would like to thank everyone, yourselves and the speakers, for being here today to deliver this very important safety message. It does take everyone, the Department of Transportation, the contractors, the City of Sioux Falls, Highway Patrol, and most importantly, drivers, to take responsibility to be safe. We encourage everyone to work with us to make this a safe construction season and get everyone home safe each and every day. Thank you.